PGA Tour winner Peter Malnati tweeted a statement earlier today in support of recent national anthem protests. The 2015 Sanderson Farms winner becomes the first golfer to publicly comment on the issue that has elicited polarizing responses from other athletes across the world of sports. Malnati offered his thoughts on the controversy surrounding the latest comments from President Donald Trump. At a recent rally, Trump used an expletive referring to any NFL player who protests the anthem and encouraged team owners to fire the player that does so. Malnati went to Twitter to say this: when players take a knee today during the national anthem and the gut reaction of so many people is to call them a son of a gun. I ask you, what do you stand for? As for me, I stand for freedom. I stand for justice for all. I stand for equality, for empathy, for compassion. I kneel to the hubris and greed, therefore I take a knee for the flag that represents this administration, not because I don't love this country, but because I do. We now welcome in Peter Malnati. And Peter, first off, thanks for joining us. What motivated you to come out and make this statement?
Well, I had no idea that this would take off the way it did when I made the statement, but, I'm certainly not disappointed in that. I just heard, I'd heard so many people comment, with what I just think are very gut reaction comments. My gut reaction to someone kneeling to the national anthem and kneeling to the flag is negative. I think that's, my gut reaction says that's bad. But I think if you stop and actually think about this and try to put yourself in the shoes of another individual, an individual that is doing that, and consider what's motivating them to do that, you might get a different perspective. I know I did. And so when I saw so many people from my world, my realm, my circle, throwing those gut reaction comments out there, I felt like I needed to say what was on my mind, because I don't agree. I don't agree with just point blank on the surface condemning someone who might kneel to our national anthem and our flag right now.
This is an issue that has stayed out of the world of golf. Obviously, it has touched the NFL. It has touched the NBA. A couple of players in Major League Baseball have taken a knee, but not golfers until you. What response have you received from other golfers?
It's been, I think, probably pretty equal parts, negative and positive. But I think, one thing that's pretty obvious to me, the instant you say that, this has touched the NFL, this has touched the NBA, it has even touched baseball. There's an obvious difference among golfers in that. There's just something that just stands out to me very quickly, and I don't know if that's obvious to everyone or not, but I do think golf is. Are
you speaking to race, Peter?
Golf's more homogenous for sure. There's not there's not as much diversity. So there's a great amount of diversity, actually, but most of us all have the same complexion.
How about the fan reaction on social media? We all know social media can be cruel at times. How has that been for you?
I think there's probably been more positive feedback than negative, but there's certainly been some, just some of that same gut reaction type of stuff where people, their first instinct is, don't kneel for my flag. You better not kneel for my flag. And like I said, I can certainly I can understand that being the gut reaction. The point of my statement, the reason I felt the need to make the statement, was because I want people that I know, people who I care about, people who I respect, to try to work past their gut reaction, because I can understand. I can understand if your gut reaction is kneeling to the flag is disrespectful and it's bad. Of course, that's my gut reaction too. But if you can get past that, and like I said, I think the real key to this issue and the real key to caring deeply as a human being is being able to put yourself in the shoes of another. And so I think if you try to look at this from the perspective of someone who has felt the need to kneel, ask yourself why is that happening? Why are they having that? Why are they having that compulsion? Why do they feel the need to do that? I think you get a different perspective, and I think that's an important thing to do in life, and I think in this situation it's particularly important.
Peter, probably the reaction I hear most from the other sports, from athletes, is, I don't want to get into politics. I want to play and win my game. you've decided to get into politics here. What were you hoping to accomplish?
I mean, yeah, I guess there's no way to avoid that. There's no way to avoid saying I got into politics. Clearly I did. I mean, but my goal really is I'm not that driven, to support one political agenda over another. I'm not that driven to do that. I'm driven to see a world where we are more loving, more accepting, more caring. A world like, I mentioned this a couple different times in the statement, like the values that I treasure as American values are, compassion and empathy and, hope for a better future. And I just feel like, I just feel like, we don't always encourage those values. And I think it's important that we do.
Peter, we thank you for your time and your courage, and best of luck to you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Still to come on Golf Central, PGA Tour champions at Pebble Beach. We'll take you there for a wrap on the day when we continue.